Most video game journalists that are still around today are completely detached from reality. They never agree with us on what makes entertainment good or bad, and really, they just exist in their little echo chamber. And whenever you criticize them or critique the games that they like, they scream about how you're an ist or a phobe, and nobody really takes them seriously anymore, especially people like Jason Schreier and Paul Tassi. And Paul is getting absolutely raked across the coals on social media right now for being mad at attractive characters in games. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, Paul Tassi has proven many times over the years that he doesn't actually know what makes entertainment good. He's defended things like Disney's Star Wars, and he's defended a modern audience slop like Concord, but yet he criticizes genuinely good games, and of course he attacks gamers all the freaking time. And we've been talking a lot about Lords of the Fallen over the past year to year and a half because of some of the drastic changes that have happened over at the development studio, and we also have heard news about Lords of the Fallen 2 because they've been really gearing up in terms of the marketing material for the sequel. And we had just heard that Lords of the Fallen 2 will highlight attractive female characters in revealing outfits, the CEO has said. Now, I actually did an interview back at the beginning of 2025 with the CEO, Merrick Tominsky. It was a really great discussion. He's a really cool guy. It'll be linked down below in case you're interested, but he is of the mindset that political correctness is bad for gaming. Developers should not be forced to censor themselves, and ultimately it is about escapism and immersion, and it should not be about agendas. And this is a very unpopular stance within the mainstream industry. There are a lot of people now that do not like him simply because him and his company are focused on putting the gamers' wishes first, which really should be what any company is doing. But this has made him a target, has made Lords of the Fallen a target, and now Paul Tassi has decided to put his 2 cents into this conversation, and he is getting destroyed for it. He said, "You can just put this in your game and it's fine. You don't have to be a huge loser about it." This is what we always say about diversity in video games. Why is it that you have to go on entire campaigns about how your characters are gay or black women or disabled and how you guys are doing the absolute most? If you truly believe in these characters and you think that they're good characters, why not just let them exist in the game itself? That's right, because you ultimately are sitting here just trying to virtue signal. There are companies that do believe that the modern audience will magically show up one day to consume this content. That's not going to happen. The modern audience is fake, and the closest that a group comes to that are sensitive snowflakes on social media, but they don't play video games, they don't buy video games, they don't consume entertainment, they just sit on X and complain all of the time. But I think that Paul Tassi, first and foremost, should have actually done a little bit of journalism, because this is getting community noted for a good reason, because he's saying that you can just put this in your game and it's fine, you don't have to be a huge loser about it, but it was literally just a response to a fan. So he didn't even take the couple of seconds to actually click on this article. He was responding to people, and that is a big reason why Paul Tassi was initially getting roasted, but then he doubled down. So Asmongold had said it was a response to a fan. Here's the source. Sam Bailey had said, "I'm going to buy the game, definitely. Will there be attractive female characters, and will there be revealing outfits and armor for them?" And Merrick just said, "Yes." Short, sweet, to the point. And Asmongold said, replying yes to a question doesn't seem like being a huge loser. It seems like you're exaggerating it to make what he's saying sound problematic. This weird media crusade against sexualized characters is failing. Just stop it. And this has been happening for well over a decade now. It's really been happening since Gamergate 1, but over the past 5 years or so, it's gotten extremely bad because there is such a large divide within the video game industry now. And we are seeing anybody who is considered a conservative or on the right or even center right, or really just anybody who is not a rabid SJW, is constantly made a target and constantly demeaned by the access media. And I understand why. These people are desperate to stay relevant, and the only way they're going to stay relevant is if the large companies continue to succeed. But when the double A's are growing and the indies are growing, that means there's not as much market for AAA games. There's not as much room for AAAs, and as soon as their access goes away, they are no longer the media. And Paul Tassi said, "Where's this crusade?" Because the crusade banging on the door every 5 seconds is complaining that someone in a game isn't hot enough. Now, somehow the new Lara Croft, if there is one too sexy complaint, there are 200 too ugly ones on here, which is just a complete and utter lie. He clearly knows that, though, or if he genuinely doesn't, he actually is the worst journalist in this space, because there is a crusade against beautiful women in the video game industry. I don't hear him talking about how there's an instance of censorship happening every single week. I do usually one video a week on censorship happening, whether it's with Steam or it's with PlayStation or one of these many platforms, developers being told they can't create what they want, and 9 times out of 10, it is because of attractive characters in video games. I just recently had done a video about Brown Dust 2 and how they had their release of the game banned on Steam just days before it was set to launch because of the seemingly attractive characters. There's some debate whether or not it had to do with the wish lists, but Steam hasn't clarified that. The developers are saying that's not the case, and I tend to believe the developers. Though, there is a crusade against attractive women in video games. There has been for a long time, and there will continue to be as long as the Paul Tassis are still in the industry. But this guy is clearly known for his god-awful takes. I've talked about him many times on the channel. Almost every single video I've done on my channel about Forbes is because of him. Forbes, which is Paul Tassi, calls us toxic for criticizing Rings of Power, Star Wars, Ghostbusters 2016, and more. Forbes says the Acolyte anti-woke discourse is weird, trashes Star Wars fans for not liking it. Forbes journalist Paul Tassi defends laid-off Kotaku activists, gets wrecked by gamers for dumb take. Forbes shills for Sweet Baby Inc.'s Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Steam sale, which won't save this fucking awful game. I mean, we are talking about list after list after list, video after video after video, which I think is hilarious to see just how out of touch he really is. He is a massive social justice warrior. He is a massive cultural Marxist, and he is perfectly fine with seeing established franchises destroyed in order to push a modern day woke fucking agenda, and most people are calling him out on that, and he doesn't seem to like that. So he's playing dumb, which isn't a good look, and he's saying that, oh, the new Lara Croft is being called too ugly, but he's not acknowledging the major posts that have blown up, which are journalists whining about how pretty Lara Croft is and gamers running to this character's defense. Woof, this new design for Lara Croft is really jarring. I joke that she looks like those anti-woke Facetune photos of make gaming characters hot again, but I don't know if it's a joke anymore. What do you mean she's fighting for her life and has a thick set of falsies? Again, they claim that they are an award-winning journalist, yet they are the biggest culprit in terms of the backlash against new Lara Croft. Sure, we can all be cautiously optimistic. I think that her face looks amazing. Her body proportions, yeah, maybe aren't exactly what you would expect from Lara Croft. You'd expect her to be a little bit bustier, but I still think that she looks really good, and most gamers are defending this character and saying she looks amazing. You are the problem with the video game industry, but this is a direct attack on a beautiful character. Is Paul Tassi going to talk about that? No, and he is getting roasted for it and deserves it. Another journalist who just reads headlines. The guy replied to a question simply saying, yes, that's it. What was so loser about it? Replying to your customers doesn't make you a loser. And if that's really the mindset Paul Tassi has, it just goes to show why there so irrelevant these days. They're dragging you in the comments, by the way. You also don't have to cry about it. Why is it talking about being a loser? Wow, that is some huge hater beta male energy coming from you. Look at all of the attacks on games like Stellar Blade that we've seen over the past year and a half. We had seen a crusade in the media against Stellar Blade. Did he ever call that out? No, because he supported it. Just so we're absolutely clear on this is exactly what he said. Not sure how saying yes makes you a loser, but you do you. I respect your input as the reigning expert on being a huge loser. You just can't handle that, Paul. You of all people know how sketchy these gaming news accounts are. All he said was yes towards a question. Come on, Paul. Acting as if you're new to the internet. Ask your doctor if shutting the F up is right for you. Go play Concord and leave us alone. Yeah, another game that he famously shilled for and absolutely loved. But as you can see, he's getting destroyed online, and rightfully so. And he is just proving us correct on why the video game journalists are not taken seriously these days and why nobody respects them at all. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.